want to put into perspective what you are facing. There is too much debt in the world, and we are inflating that debt away. Central banks are. And it will inflate everything that you have away. You are looking at a time right now where we could be at war at any time. We just put the 101st Airborne Division into Europe to back NATO up. And the Pentagon said yesterday they are ready to go. They could go into Ukraine at any time. That's terrifying. Do you want the United States to be at war with our soldiers, with Russia and Ukraine? By the way, that will only make your gas, your food, everything else much more expensive.
And you will learn if this occurs, that is the least of your worries.
Yes.
You will not be caring about gas prices if this thing breaks out in real terms.
This is not good at all. Not good at all. And why has this really been done? This has been done because of the fight over pipelines, oil pipelines. The West has decided we're going to cut off all oil and gas. Going to cut it off. You don't need it anymore. Well, actually you do, but we're going to destroy it all, so then we can't go back. That's basically what they're doing right now. And they're doing it out in the open. And they're claiming that this is for climate. But it's not for climate. Fires burn more than 4 million acres, emitting twice as much greenhouse gas as the state of California's total reductions over the last 20 years. So one wildfire season nullified 2 decades worth of reductions. This is not about, you can't contain what's happening. And in the places where they're not insane, just evil, places like China, they've completely changed the game.
Oh my gosh, it's incredible. Let me put this in the framework of the Inflation Reduction Act for a moment. Now, you know that this act had nothing to do with inflation.
No.
I'm not breaking news there. But Joe Biden talked about this. Really, the only thing they talked about in this bill was the climate stuff.
Right.
He said this bill is the biggest step forward on climate ever. And it's going to allow us to boldly take additional steps toward meeting all of my climate goals and the ones we set out when we ran. So this is the most important climate legislation ever. Now, Kamala Harris was asked what her favorite part of this climate legislation was, and she gave an amazing answer.
What are some parts of the Inflation Reduction Act, this amazing new law, that you are most excited about?
So much.
Right.
One of the things that I'm very excited about is what we have been doing in terms of electric vehicles.
Okay.
And I have a particular fondness, I must tell you, for electric school buses. I love electric school buses.
I love them too. They're so great.
I really do, and we're manufacturing them in our country. I've been to the manufacturing plants. I've been on these electric school buses, and think about it. Aside from the pandemic, on a daily basis, 25 million children in our country every day go to school.
What?
On those diesel-fueled school buses.
Wow. The wheels of the bus go round and round. It's so incredible. So, there is a line, by the way, in the bill. She's not lying here about electric school buses. It's about clean, heavy-duty vehicles. The EPA funding program, Class 6 and electric commercial vehicles, including trucks, transit, buses, and school buses, funding $1 billion. Okay, so $1 billion. Now,
$1 billion, that's nothing.
Let's just take that entire program and dump it all into electric school buses for a second. And so we'll skip the regular buses, the other transit, the trucks, the commercial vehicles. We'll skip all that. Just say it all went to electric school buses because it's obviously the biggest part of this bill to come.
Right.
We could buy 2,857 school buses because each one costs between $300,000 and $400,000 each. Okay?
So we can buy, with $1 billion, we can buy how many?
2,857 school buses.
2,000.
Now, give me an over-under. How many school buses do you think there are in America? Over 2,857 or under?
It's going to be close, but I think it's over.
It's over. You're right.
Over,
yes, there's 500,000 school buses.
Wow.
So for 2,857 of them, you just have to spend $1 billion. You have to spend a little more to get to all of them. But let's look at this in context now. Okay. There was a little announcement. Came out last week. Nobody noticed it. No one paid attention to this announcement at all. It came out with headlines like, China vows boost domestic energy supplies, step up risk control. That was like one of the headlines. I was like, you going to read that article? Anyone clicking on that?
Nobody's clicking
on that. Is that clickbait?
No.
Not clickbait. So let me just give you just a quick outline of what it said. The ruling party, the Communist Party, aims for annual coal production to rise to 4.6 billion tons in 2025. A deputy director of the Cabinet's National Energy Administration, Ren Jingdong, said.
Love him.
I love Ren Jingdong.
Have you read all the Jingdongs? Have you read all of his books?
He's my favorite Jingdong.
Yeah. I love Ren
Jingdong.
Love him.
That might be Kylo Ren's last name.
He is. No, he's actually the iconic image used for Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so up 12%. That's your big headline. Didn't anyone pay attention to that now? So that was just one part of one announcement, okay? But what he said was pretty important there, because just the increase, not the whole amount of gold.
No.
That's not at all. Not
just the
amount.
increase.
Just the increase in the use of coal. Not all fossil fuels.
Right, just coal.
Just coal.
Got it.
Okay. Is enough to wipe out the emission savings from the most important part of the most important climate bill ever, by quite a bit. Remember, we spent months talking about this at the top of every single news broadcast, right? This is the most important climate bill ever. Just the increase is enough to cause more than 20,000 times as many emissions as the most important part of the most important bill ever. 20,000 times. That thing that no one mentioned on the news, that no one cared about, that little announcement, 20,000 times as much as the electric school bus thing. Now, let's just say we could go crazy. And let's say we convert every single school bus, the whole 500,000. We do it all. That would cost us $175 billion at least, but let's just say we do it anyway. Some other environmental concerns go along with that. We could get into that another time. Yeah. But just this little announcement about this one type of fuel in this one country one time is enough to wipe out all the school buses in America going electric 119 times over. In fact, let's go a little more relatable here.
Okay.
Think of the SUV. We got to take our SUVs off the road.
Yeah.
Got to get those SUVs off the road.
Have to.
Let's go to one of the most popular SUVs ever, the Ford Explorer.
Yeah.
Now, just this one announcement from this one country about this one, not all fossil fuels,
right?
About just the increase of this one kind of fossil fuel would be the equivalent of adding 96,437,228 Ford Explorers to the world. Now, that's a problem because it's 29 times more than they've ever produced. So it might be a tad problematic to do that.
But
imagine
you're
the
saying
traffic
there's
issues.
a chance.
Yeah, no. This is just this one announcement from this one country about this one fossil fuel is the equivalent of 82% of all vehicles on the road in the United States.
Oh my gosh.
If they cared about global warming, if that was really the goal, wouldn't that lead every broadcast? Because the issue here, Glenn, and the most important part of this, is it's just from some random evil dictator who just had his predecessor escorted out of a meeting against his will. And we have absolutely no control over him. In fact, you could make the point that recently it seems like he has a lot of control over us. And so we can
every policy we're doing.
Every policy that we're doing.
Weakens us to make them stronger.
Right. And you know what? We can pass the biggest climate bill ever, and it gets completely wiped out by one announcement by President Xi that nobody tells you about, and we have absolutely no control over. You are changing your life for that nonsense. It's all wiped out immediately, and this happens every few years. They announce these increases, we don't even look at them, and it wipes out everything that we're doing. All the trillions of dollars, all the money that we're spending, giving people money to go buy a Tesla, right? All of that is completely inconsequential. He just wiped out 82% of all vehicles. If we took them off the road, we would be breaking even. Not just turning them into electric vehicles or hybrids. Taking 82% of all the vehicles in the United States off the road tomorrow would just be the equivalent of what this guy announced in some meeting the media didn't tell you about.
So let me ask you, are you willing to send your son or daughter over to fight for something this flawed? Because that is going to be in the winter. That's what they're going to say. It's because, look at the people are starving. They're cold. Well, you know what's making them starving and cold? Our policy on climate change, our policy on oil, our policy to get out of all fossil fuels and anything that will make a cow fart. They are changing absolutely everything, and your son or daughter is going to be asked to serve and fight. You don't ship the 101st Airborne over to the border of Ukraine for no reason. You're playing a very dangerous game. And I'm not hearing enough people talk about it. There is no debate on this. And I don't know a single person who is in favor of war, but I'm telling you, this administration is in favor of war. And by the way, Republicans can't do a damn thing about it. They can't do anything about it until January. And it's all for nonsense. ESG, everything that is happening in your life, in your business, is all happening because of this warped anti-human philosophy. Everything that is happening in your kid's school is happening because of this warped anti-human philosophy. And the faster we wake up to it, the faster we will realize that's evil. That's evil. We're not fighting against, I don't even know if people even recognize this. Most of the people who are gluing themselves to a wall after trying to destroy a priceless painting, they haven't even thought of any of that. But the ideas behind it are evil, and that's why they always strike out in darkness. Destroy, 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 pervert, pervert, pervert.